Why don't you start us off?
Aquaman's one of the best characters in this movie.
I agree.
They did real good.
Yeah, they did.
He's real good. Every scene in Atlantis was real good, like real cool.
Mm-hmm. I would say that one of the best things that they've done is nail the characters.
Yep, the characters are really good.
Aside from maybe the villain, there wasn't a weak one, but even the villain had motivation.
He wasn't super strong, but he wasn't.
He had more motivation than half of Marvel's villains, but the
Not
other half of
saying
Marvel's
much.
villains are way better than Steppenwolf. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. He was real cool to watch fight. The fight scenes the fight choreography was really nice. I liked it a lot. Every time something happened, I was like, ooh.
There was some really good action in this movie, that's true.
Yeah.
Action and dialogue, I feel like, are the two strong points, which is funny, because action is Zack Snyder's strongest point, and dialogue is Joss Whedon's strongest point.
Yeah.
So.
But I feel like, yeah.
Yeah,
because Zach wrote most of the movie, like helped do most of the movie too.
He didn't write the movie.
Yeah.
He helped.
The writer did a really good job.
He did. A lot bugged me about this movie. A lot I had issue with, and if I'm gonna be honest, the reshoots were some of the most apparent reshoots I've ever seen in a film. There was a scene where, and I talked to you about this earlier, but there was a scene where Aquaman was walking. It was the first time that it jutted out at me, and I'm sure reshoots are apparent throughout the whole movie. They spent $100 million on it.
Yeah.
So the first one that I noticed was the first 20 minutes of the film, where Batman and Aquaman are walking down, and Aquaman's gonna go jump in the rig, and they're having this conversation. And there's a scene where he gets in the water up to waist high, and he turns around and is like dressed like a bat, you know, I dig it, or whatever. It's the first time of the 3 times that he says that line. And then it cuts to Batman, and he says something, and it cuts back to Aquaman. And Aquaman in this shot is a completely different shot from a completely different set, from a completely different day, with a green screen behind him, and the hair is all fuzzy, and the shoulder is a different lighting than the shoulder was in the previous shot you shot 2 seconds ago in the same film. You could have easily, like, either color graded it correctly, or better yet, just film it as it was so that it doesn't seem bizarre and out of place.
Yeah.
And then, after it cuts back to Bruce Wayne and back to Aquaman, it's back in the shot it originally was, continuing the same conversation that he originally continued from before they cut that weird scene into it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they obviously, like, Joss Whedon was going over the film and said, if we do it right, this will be a place where we can seamlessly blend in a bit of movie. And he was right, but they didn't seamlessly blend it in. And that's the first, I wish it was the only. If it was the only bit, I would give this movie, like, maybe a 7 out of 10. Maybe 8 out of 10. I don't know. I'd give it a really good review if that was the only bit that jumped out at me as bizarre and last minute. But it was not. And I'm going to save a lot of my gripes with it for the big review. But technical issues like that, when you spend $300 million making a film with 2 directors, that is just below par. And that is not acceptable. And that, especially for the movie titled Justice League, my favorite superhero team, famously. That's heartbreaking for me to see that done to my characters that I love. In a version of Batman that I love. Not only just love.
He's the best version
This is the best version of Batman. And I'm incredibly excited to see him on the screen. I'm incredibly excited for Superman to return. By the way, Superman is one of the best parts of the movie. He's classic Superman.
He's really silly. I love it. It's so good.
They brought him back, and it's as if all of, like, the weird weight and gravity that he carried on his shoulders
died with him.
Yeah, it died with him. And then when he came back, well, he was weird and evil for all of 10 minutes. But then, as he's back, and I don't want to spoil anything, even though I kind of maybe did, not really. But in any case, after he comes back and you hear the John Williams score in the background, which it says it's blended in seamlessly, just like the reshoots. But just like the reshoots, it really wasn't. It was very apparent. But that's, in any case.
But I thought that had a nice touch when it played the music in the background.
This version of Superman is vastly better of an improvement. And I think the studio knows that. I think almost every scene of Superman was reshot, and it wasn't the weird jarring reshoots. I think it was just the studio saying, hey, fans don't like our version of Superman, and we hold the property, so let's make a version that they like. And he just died, so here's an opportunity to do that. Like we were talking about, if they can retroactively make Superman good by killing him off and then bringing him back in a better way, they're geniuses.
Yeah,
so
and
that was
this is really smart.
It's a really smart move by them.
His costume wasn't gray and red-gray either. It was blue and red.
It was blue and emphasized the muscles with, like, little touches of, like, brighter blue.
It was so good. The costume was so good.
Yeah.
They didn't do the black costume. I'm mad.
They didn't do the black costume. Why did Henry Cavill post an Instagram photo of the black costume?
I hate him.
That is... I didn't even think about it until this moment,
It's a
but
fake
that
out.
does suck.
Damn it.
Oof. He faked us out. Wow. I guess it would have been weird to explain, though, because the way it's... I won't get into spoilers, but we'll talk about that as a separate point on the show. Overall,
I like the movie a lot.
I like the movie. Not a lot.
I love the movie.
I have a lot of issues with it. This is my film. Today is my birthday. It premiered November 16th on my birthday. And
I mean, it's better than the film that premiered on my birthday that we went to see.
Does not make it. That should not be the bar we hold it to.
X-Men Apocalypse is not the bar.
Better than another film that came out that was not good. That is not the bar we hold any film to.
Not good, but
it's not the point.
Yeah.
Point is, this should have been a much better film. So,
I really enjoyed watching it. There were a lot of strong parts.
Mm-hmm. The action I feel was really.
The action was really strong. The story actually was good for a DC movie, which is surprised.
The entire scene where Steppenwolf was trying to get the mother box from the Amazons.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Yep. I thought the Aquaman, him getting the box in the Aquaman scene was kind of crap.
Quick. It wasn't bad. It was just quick.
It was okay, but then when they're talking in the bubble of air, I felt like, well, you didn't establish this. Well, that's a plot line I guess we'll see in 10 other movies.
In Aquaman, probably.
Yeah, but why am I watching this now if it has nothing to do with the plot? When they established Spider-Man and Black Panther in Civil War, there was dialogue about who they are and what they are and like their arcs and stuff and who they are as people setting up their future movies, yes. But the dialogue and the scenes involving those characters in this film and their introduction was relevant to the plot and story of the movie.
That's true.
And therefore didn't leave you wondering, wait, why are they talking about Aquaman's mom and made her mad or him mad and now he's not going to be Aquaman or something. It's bizarre, doesn't fit in the movie. And if Joss Whedon's editing the thing and he knows about superhero movies' flaws and strengths and weaknesses, it's bizarre to me that he didn't cut that out. So
it was just like, well, your mom would have went to go up to protect it, but she's not here, so you have to do it. And it's like, okay. It was part of like a little inciting thing for him to actually go to the league.
Yeah, but it's never addressed before, never addressed afterwards, and it does nothing to do with. It's not like later on in the film he can apply the B plot of that film and say, "Hey, now I have earned the trust of my mom." Or like that's how character arcs work. It applies to later in the movie because that's why you write it in the movie in the first place. It makes me frustrated.
That's true.
It makes me. I'm back and forth. I'll give my full rating after I've seen it a second time.
That's true. I can't wait to see it.
Anything else you want to add?
There was a lot of real good things. Both the post-credit scenes were actually really good.
Yes,
one was silly, but it was like
one was really nice to see in live action. The silly one.
Yeah.
The race.
And the other one was good. Yes. Like really good.
Deathstroke. Holy shit.